the green banner, what we are standing for, right? And these are all part of the feminine aspects of this very masculinist government that has, it's not just masculine, it is masculinist. It is hegemony of masculinity, which makes the society sick because it takes away the harmony of the both feminine and masculine that are needed in a healthy society. This is the government that proposed a family bill which not only in 2009, instead of going forward and looking at the changes that women have achieved, 63% of our students are in Iranian universities are female. Women are active almost in all kinds of professions. The average age of marriage today in reality for women is 22 and for men 27 or even higher. But this government, the laws that they have been reinforcing, and some of the traditions are so outdated. They have actually, after Islamic Republic, unfortunately, the most retrogressive aspects of our culture have been reinforced. I'm not saying that patriarchy has been created by this government. No. Unfortunately, patriarchy, which is a global problem, in some places less so, and in some places with more, prevalence, like in Iran and Saudi Arabia and other places. But what happened after the revolution, despite women's massive participation, instead of gaining more rights, we lost a lot of rights. And the regime, and especially now in the past 4 or 5 years, Ahmadinejad has reinforced the most retrogressive aspects of our culture. And some of the aspects that were not even part of our culture, like stoning to death, was not part of Iranian culture. It is anti-Iranian, anti-humanity tradition that should be stopped. And it was thanks to Iranian women's struggle and struggle of the progressive people in Iran, students, workers, teachers, everybody, and intellectuals, and international pressure, especially of the European Union. Finally, Ayatollah Shahrudi ordered to stop stoning. But when Ahmadinejad took power, they revived the stoning, the practice of stoning again. So this is the government that not only revived this kind of retrogressive policies, but also proposed a bill, a family bill to the parliament that made polygamy much easier and tried to even deprive women from the last resort they have, and that is mahriyeh, because they wanted to associate a tax for mahriyeh, which was something that can repeal at least arbitrary one-sided divorce right of men. So this is the government that is so pro-patriarchy. But fortunately, women, thanks to the large coalition they formed, they fought back and they made Ahmadinejad to retreat from, at least, eliminate part of those most retrogressive aspects of the family bill. This is the government that, after his so-called victory, after the electoral coup d'etat that they made, when he had a press conference, when he was asked, what are you going to do for women's rights, because women have been so massively participating in election and all that, he said, they don't understand, women actually have more rights than men do in Iran. He really made people he caused outrage among women. No wonder you see so many women so actively participating in these demonstrations. Women are participating. Women's participation is not like an overnight development in Iran. Some people think that, wow, what's happened? This is an Islamist government, so how come women are so active? No. Women's participation has been in motion and preparation for over 100 years now. Women's rights activism in Iran has at least 100 years of history. And especially in the past 10, 15 years, thanks to the paradoxes in the Iranian society and thanks to many changes, demographic changes, changes in women's literacy, and especially remarkable drop in the fertility rate and remarkable increase in educational attainment of women and all that, and also thanks to globalization and the prominence of human rights discourse and women's rights discourse and global feminism, we are witnessing a very strong, vigorous women's movement, which, like the Green movement, is not centralized. That's why some people think that, oh, there's no women's movement. The women's movement in Iran, like the Green movement right now, is segmentary, meaning that it has several small groups and small organizations, even some individuals that are part of this movement. In an authoritarian system, you cannot have the classic type of movement with centralized, hierarchical, organization leading everybody. It's not possible. But it is the creativity of this movement, the Green movement and also women's movement, that it has been able to function as a segmentary movement. It is polycentric rather than having one center of leadership. It has several centers of leadership that can even compete with each other. We see that it's happening almost in the Green movement as well. Not everybody is just listening to Mr. Mousavi, because Mr. Mousavi himself also is saying that I'm learning from people. Even the green color was not Mr. Mousavi's idea. It was initiation of some young people who suggested to him, let's use green as our banner and as our movement. So there are several groups who are leading, although the prominent leader at this point is Mr. Mousavi, but there is also Mr. Karoubi, and several groups who are acting, as Mr. Mousavi himself said, every individual can be a leader for the movement. Every individual should act like a, what did he say, the word that he used, Mr. Setar, headquarters. Every individual should be a headquarters for the movement. So that is the nature of polycentric and also reticulate nature, which means it is not very organized, it is not hierarchical, it is not centralized, it is fluid, it is like network, shabakei, and especially thanks to the internet, we need to be more creative about being this reticulate nature of the movement. That is, not only every individual, every small group using the internet, using the any sort of media that is accessible, Facebook and also international media, to keep on going. So let me finish, because my time is over and I guess I got carried over, to demand not only freedom of all political prisoners, but specifically mention the name of the women who have been specifically involved not only in this national civil rights green movement, but have been very active in the women's movement. And those are Shadi Sadr, Shiva Nazarahadi, Shiva Maniyahou, Pavel Muzaffari, even though he's a man, but he's arrested because of his activism in women's movement. Hengame Shahidi, Ronald Safarzadeh, Aliyeh Ramdoos, who's a teacher, who's a women's activist, who's also a labor rights activist. And also the lawyers like Abdul Qadir Sultani and the Fedras, who have been very devoted to defending women's rights activism. And I'm glad that Ms. Shirin Ebadi is at least outside Iran at this point. Otherwise, we had to also ask for her release, because I'm sure she would have been also in jail by now. Thank you very much. And we are the political prisoners in Iran.